Who are some players that if they are way better than I expect them to be in 2025, they change the way the Houston Texans could operate as a team? I'll tell you who those players are in this video, brought to you by my friends at The Perfect Gene, the most comfortable, stretchy, lightweight, best fitting jeans you've ever had with my friends at The Perfect Gene. 15% off, free exchanges, and free shipping. The link in the description down below. So who are these players? And I'm not talking about some obvious ones. Like if Jaden Higgins is the offensive rookie of the year, the Texans are going to be awesome. Okay. If Ariante Ursary is one of the best left tackles, young left tackles in all of football, yeah, it's going to help the offensive line. I'm talking about some under the radar players, some guys you may not always think about, or they could play a much more critical role than I expect them to play in the 2025 landscape of the Houston Texans. Let's start on offense. Let's go to the running back position. Look, if Nick Chubb is way better than I think he is, if he forces his way onto the football field, that changes the way that the Houston Texans can operate as an offense. Look, Joe Mixon is another year older. And though wear and tear hasn't caught up to Joe Mixon yet, he got hurt on hip drop tackle last year. It wasn't wear and tear that kept Joe Mixon off the field. It was a hit in a game. It wasn't some sort of issue where all the carries and touches he's had in his career caught up to him. But that day's coming for the running back. And if you need to kind of adjust how much you use Joe Mixon and don't have a clear backup, you might be in a little bit of trouble trying to run the football unless Nick Chubb is way better than I expect him to be. Now, I have mediocre expectations for Nick Chubb. My hope for Chubb on the 2025 Texans is if Joe Mixon's got to miss 2 weeks, Nick Chubb is a worthwhile fill-in for him while Mixon is out. I don't really want to see Nick Chubb on the field because that means that Joe Mixon's not on the field or Woody Marks is not on the field. Okay, usually means a bad thing if Nick Chubb is on the field. But if Chubb shows up to training camp, he's clicked with this offense and he showcases, I don't know, 70, 75% of what he used to be as a running back, that's a guy that you can trust. That's a guy that you can split carries with Joe Mixon and keep both those guys fresh. And that's a guy that you can help with Joe Mixon lean on teams down the stretch. When you got a small lead and you want to grind teams out and trust that defense, when you got a big lead and you don't want to throw the football anymore and you want to just run the football and crush some fools, if you have more than Joe Mixon, that's going to be much easier for the Houston Texans to do. And so Nick Chubb, he's the first player that if he's way better than I think he's going to be in 2025, the Texans move up a little bit in how good I think they can. Let's flop over to defense here for this one. Let's go to the defensive tackle position. We talk about Will Anderson. We talk about Danielle Hunter a lot. Obviously, Derek Stingley and Kamari Lassiter. Man, but we don't talk about those defensive tackles as much. But if Mario Edwards is way better than I think he's going to be in 2025, and they have a defensive tackle presence that offenses have to account for, that offenses can't help on those defensive ends, that offenses have to stop on four-man rushes in addition to Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter screaming off the edges like demons out of hell trying to kill the quarterback. If the Texans have that, man, it changes the way this defense is going to operate. Like, I have a high belief in that secondary. I like the linebackers more than most, and obviously the edge players are fantastic. But if Mario Edwards is a really good player throughout the course of 2025, it really makes things tough for opposing offenses to get comfortable. Not only in a pass rush standpoint, but taking care of business from stopping opposing teams from running the football as well. Because running the football is going to be how you try to neutralize the incredible pass rush. And you obviously don't have to worry as much about the cornerbacks if you keep the ball on the ground. But it's also a way for opposing teams to try to exploit a piece of the Texans defense that isn't as strong. You don't want to throw because the cornerbacks in the secondary is good. You don't want to drop back a bunch and even try short passes because the edge rushers are good. But if Mario Edwards is changing the game in the middle, slowing down opposing rushing attacks, putting teams in second and third and long, and then, oh, by the way, a pass rush presence, think about the nastiness of this defensive line if Mario Edwards is a player that the opposing team has to consistently account for. And he looked like he was headed towards being that. And then that suspension popped up last year. It took him a while to get moving again. And then he finally found a little bit of a groove there at the back end of the season. But another year in this system, hopefully no suspension in the middle. Mario Edwards really gets into a groove. That could be something that really elevates that defense for the Texans from that really good to elite level. You know what's elite? The perfect gene. The perfect gene has the best jeans I have ever worn in my entire life. They are stretchy. They are lightweight. They are breathable. So even when you have to wear them in the summer, you're not dying like some of these other thick, immobile jeans out there. It's tough for me to find jeans that I love, but I found them with my friends at The Perfect Gene. You can find you a pair that you love as well. Head to the link in the description down below. You're going to get 15% off your first order. You're going to get free shipping. You're going to get free exchanges. There's a lot of different styles. There's slim cut. There's boot cut. I like the athletic fit. Myself, there's a lot of different colors. I like the indigo and I like the black ones, but maybe you want one of the other colors that they have. Hey, exchanges are free at The Perfect Gene as well. Free shipping, free exchanges, 15% off, the best jeans you've ever had. What more do you need? Check them out in the link in the description down below. Appreciate them for sponsoring this video. So an offensive player, a defensive player. Let's go back to offense here. And I'm kind of building towards the level of impact these players could have if they're way better than I expect. Let's go on the offensive line. I couldn't have a be better than I expect you to be in 2025 video and not talk about hopefully an offensive lineman. Let's go to right guard. Titus Howard. Titus Howard at right guard. And you think about the situation that Howard could be in there. He could be the elder statesman over there on the right side of the offensive line. And if he is way better than I expect him to be in 2025, that will at least give me a little bit of confidence, a little bit of ease that maybe they can get something going on this offensive line. Titus Howard's played a lot of football. You know who hasn't played a lot of football? The likely starting right tackle, Blake Fisher. And certainly if it's not Fisher and it's Ariante Ursary, he hadn't played a lot of football either. And then at center, Jake Andrews. If he's the starter at center, he hadn't played a lot of football. If it's Jared Patterson, again, hasn't played a ton of football. Titus Howard has. And if he could lock down that right guard spot, think about how leaky it was last year at right guard with Shaq Mason. Just not good. It went fast for Shaq Mason. If you could get an average level of guard play at right guard from Titus Howard, one, it would be nice because Howard's pretty much on the team no matter what with his contract situation. But two, they haven't had average right guard play in a long time. Okay. It's been a long time since they've had average. I mean, I guess Shaq in his first year was kind of average, but before that, not good. You get average guard play at right guard from Titus Howard, and he can consistently be the starting right guard, can lock it down. You're not having to shuffle and change things. And then because he's seen a lot of football, he can help out Blake Fisher or Ariante Ursary to his right. Or he can help out Jake Andrews a little bit to his left. That'd be nice for this offensive line, and they desperately need guys that can not only win a starting position on that offensive line, but keep the starting position on that offensive line because competition doesn't just stop after somebody won the job and they start the season. You got to see how they do in the actual games. And if you don't get it done in the games, you swap them out, then it's changing. Everybody's getting used to everything. It's a new offense. And it's too much. Lock it down. If you're Titus Howard, lock it down and create at least a little bit higher floor than what we saw last year because you get some solid play at right guard. So let's flip it over to the defense for the final player. Now, I'm not as bullish on this player heading into 2025 as a lot of other people are. And I know some of the advanced stats people and some of the more nerdier conversations don't love this guy, but they're going to depend on him. And if he's way better than I expect him to be, well, a defense is going to be even nastier than we expect it to be. Safety, Kalen Bullock. He is a player that was really solid last year, and they trusted him almost from the word go at that safety spot. And they can play a certain style of defense because they can trust him to go out there and play center field. There's just a few things about Bullock's game that if they are not questions in 2025 and he's got it locked up and he's improved on those, then, oh man, you're talking about a secondary that is the best in football because you've got one of the best cornerbacks in football. You got one of the best young cornerbacks in football. CJ Gardner-Johnson is an animal at the safety spot. You've got some good depth. You just need that other safety to be a guy that you can trust. Tackle better and just be a little bit more decisive and picking his spots from that safety spot. I know they call him Hawk, like ball hawk. Okay, I get that, but I think about Ladd McConkey in the playoffs, and I get worried that you take a couple of too many chances and things in a close game kind of get away from you. If he's just a little bit more discernible about when to take a chance and that tackling gets better, he's not the biggest guy in the world, and they may need him to come up there and make a play and really kind of change the tide of a drive with a big tackle short of a first down marker. Kalen Bullock, if he is excellent this year, if he is a very good player, because I think he can be pretty good, okay? And I just worry about rookie safety seasons after what Petrie did, really good as a rookie safety, wasn't good the next season. I just worry about just kind of thinking safeties are good to go and not worrying about them. I just worry about that line of thinking, and I probably shouldn't worry. It's not good for you. You can't do anything about it. But if Bullock took care of his business and improved and fine-tuned some of the things about his game, and he's even better than I think he's going to be, well, put a 5 as the floor for where this defense can be. Okay, they're already one of the better defenses in football. They will be a top 5 defense if Kalen Bullock is a demon in the secondary, and they could end up as the best defense in football when you factor in all those things. And if Bullock does what he does to a very high level, elite is going to be the floor for the Houston Texans in 2025. So those are my 4 players. And again, kind of went off the beaten path, not your typical names here. Obviously, we know if Willie Anderson's awesome or Danielle Hunter or Christian Kirk or Nico, those guys are awesome. We know that. But some under-the-radar players. Who are your players, and do you agree with mine? Let me know in the comment section down below. On your way down there, hey, thumbs up on the video. That means you liked it. Share it with somebody if you want to. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. Tons of great Texans content coming your way. Subscribe to SNL, where myself and Landry Locker bring you SNL every weekday at 4 p.m., okay, live on the SNL channel. And then check out my friends at The Perfect Gene. The best jeans you're ever going to wear at The Perfect Gene. Okay? Breathable, stretchable, comfortable, affordable. And even more affordable when you get that discount, 15% off and free shipping and free exchanges and free returns if you don't like them as well. Hit the link in the description down below. Appreciate you watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I can't wait till we talk Texans again soon.